Well, in a crazy world, we would ask what Lee Van Cleef could do, but what he would do. But anyway, welcome to another edition of 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse. And unfortunately, again, we have to open the show with two passings. First, last week was Jeff Burr at age 60. I think it was a stroke, which is really fucking shocking. 60 years old. I had met Jeff only one time at, I believe it was Cinema Wasteland. Very nice guy, very supportive of anybody's work, always willing to talk film, always willing to give, an up-and-coming filmmaker words of advice or a helping hand. And of course, he did Texas Chainsaw 3, From a Whisper to a Scream, Slipping into Darkness, another film that's very underappreciated, and a bunch of other stuff. But it just said 60 years old. What a good guy he was, and he will definitely be missed. And I'm recording this on Saturday, October 14th, and I just was informed this morning that Mark Goddard from Lost in Space and Blue Sunshine had passed away. Mark was a fixture at the Chiller conventions for years. Always a lot of fun, always great to hang out with. He used to just, I think he was a special ed teacher in his real job, and this was sort of his chance to cut loose on weekends and stuff, and there was some memorable experiences with Mark. And I do remember one really cool thing Mark did. It was when, I don't know if I've told this story or not, they had a chiller down in Crystal City, Virginia, which basically tanked. And Mark had walked up to me and said, what do you think I should do? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, Kevin really took the fucking pipe on this, didn't he? I go, yeah. And he goes, I'm not going to take a payoff then. And he walked away. Same with Dave Friedman with the same show. Dave endorsed the check and turned it around and handed it back to Kevin saying, you took enough of a fucking beating this weekend. So those are two good guys, two, really stand-up guys. And like I said, Mark Goddard, you'll be missed. Like I said, we had a blast hanging out, and I'm no longer with the cons and stuff, so I don't know whether when you quit or when you didn't quit, but like I said, it was a blast, my friend, and you'll be missed. But back to our black and white stuff, and why not take a daily double of John Agar. Brain from Planet Arous and the seldom seen Hand of Death. Oh God, what can I tell you about these? Really. John Agar, for whatever reason, I even wrote notes down here. Go away, Booch, you're bothering me. He's sort of the unsung king of 50s good and bad horror and sci-fi, and in between a whole shitload of horror films, he was doing war films, westerns with John Wayne and other stuff. I mean, he would do something like The Hand of Death, which is definitely a grade Z film, and then do, Chisholm with John Wayne. So, it's just a weird fucking thing, but he started out with, The Revenge of the Creature, and he did Tarantula, The Mole People, Daughter of Dr. Jekyll, and of course, the aforementioned Brain from Planet Arous, then Attack of the Puppet People, Invisible Invader, the aforementioned Hand of Death, Journey to the Seventh Planet, Women of the Prehistoric Planet, shot for TV, Zontar Thing from Venus, which was basically a remake of It Conquered the World, and King Kong, the remake, and also Curse of the Swamp Creature, where he basically flexed his thespian talents by sitting around through the whole film and smoking a cigarette. He was also in the Florida shot by Rico Browning, Mr. No Legs, with Richard Jekyll and Ron Slinker, and nobody got paid for that. But these two films, Brain from Planet Arous, there's a bunch of mysterious radiation coming from Mystery Mountain, so scientists John Agar and Robert Fuller run out to check it out. And unfortunately, Robert Fuller is fried early on by this evil brain called Gore, who possesses John Agar's body and is going to take over the world, and because he's an outlaw criminal from his own planet, Arous, and he's going to take over our world and then get even with Planet Arous. Of course, there's another brain sent down to get him, and the brain also needs a human form, but they can't find a human form, so they settle for a dog. So it's basically John walking around with these black glazed eyes, having these high-level meetings with officials, interfering with an atom bomb test and blowing that up by himself. And then the tour de force one was when he blew up an airplane and the plane blows up and you see part of the plane just swinging on the wire that it was attached to. He also gets the hots for his fiancee, where he gets completely out of control and demented and basically tries to rape her on camera a couple times. It all ends when the only way you can kill Gore is to get Gore going back into his physical form, which is basically a brain balloon. And then, of course, John attacks it with an axe, killing it. The good invader leaves the dog and goes back to Arous, and all is good until the Hand of Death. The Hand of Death stars John and Paula Raymond from Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. And in this one, John's another crazy scientist in a bargain basement lab trying to perfect a nerve gas that will be combined with a hallucinogenic. So he's working weekends his fiance is a little bit fucking pissed off, but he's a dedicated mad scientist. He exposes himself to this nasty gas, which basically anybody he touches dies. They burn for some reason. They turn crisp. What happens is, John's trying to get back to the house to, get a cure, and he stops at a gas station, and the gas station attendant is none other than Joe Besser, either between the Abbott and Costello show or his bit with the Three Stooges. But anyway, I was expecting Joe to go, "Oh, I'll give you such a pinch." But he, does all this gas station stuff for about 5 minutes until he makes the mistake of touching John Agar, then he burns to a crisp. Back at the house, John sort of morphs into what looks like a big fucking baked potato with arms and legs. His benefactor's in a wheelchair, the other scientist. The other guy tries to get up, and John reaches out to steady him, cooking him into another little baked potato. So John tries to cleverly disguise himself by putting on a trench coat and a hat and going out in a car and driving around. There's some aimless fucking shit going on with this. I can't remember what happened. He winds up walking a beach for some reason, staggering aimlessly on a beach for about 5 or 10 minutes, it looks like. Seems like an eternity with this film, which is only 60-something minutes. But anyway, he passes out on the beach, and this little kid finds him, and I'm expecting this kid to get touched so he can turn into a tater tot, but that doesn't happen. The big climax is that John gets shot, falls backward into the ocean, and is swept out to sea. The end. I don't even know if this film's available in any format other than this one here, which I got it on the early days of DVD. It was the Incredibly Strange Film Collection out of Jamestown, Missouri. I remember the guy who was doing it was a guy named Johnny Cornette, who used to be tight with Ted B. Michaels. I don't know if Johnny's even still around, but honestly, I don't know. I know Brain from Planet Hours is out on a Blu-ray if you want to pay $30 for it. You go on Edgar R. Hamilton bookseller, you can get it for $15. And like I said, Hand of Death, I don't know, it might be on YouTube. The print I got's a little bit dark and stuff, but it's fun. I mean, it's completely insane, and just seeing Joe Besser there, completely lost as a gas station attendant is pretty funny too. So that's our show for today. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. And above all, stay safe with all the crap that's going on. And we will catch you on the flip side.